like I told you, I'm not talking to media about this.
Well, I appreciate it, brother.
Well, you're all about the truth these days just as much as I am, and it's ridiculous how much is being concealed for a narrative, and frankly, I'm disgusted with it.
I am too. You know, we try to do a number of things here, and the things that I try to do is document history from our military heroes, because nobody else is doing it. Bring truth, uncover corruption, and bring hope. We bring a lot of hope. You know, a lot of guys that are struggling, and women, you know what I mean, that are struggling and overcoming all that trauma. That's what we try to do here. And with you, we're bringing truth.
Yes, we are.
So,
and out of that, I want to bring hope too. You know, it's not just with what I'm dealing with amongst the other people here that, you know, have amazing stories too. As much as it sounds outlandish, and don't get me wrong, I think, you know, I can agree to that, at least with outside perspective.
Instead of punishment, her form of punishment was me packing a backpack full of clothes, and she dropped me off at my mom's front door. My mom at the time had remarried, and she was in active addiction. Both of them were. So I went from having nice name brand clothes and shoes, eating 3 square meals a day, to wondering if I was going to eat it all. My mom and my stepdad would lock themselves in their room and smoke crack and fight. They were very physical with each other. I got curious one night of what all this yelling and screaming was about, and I went and looked up underneath their door to kind of see what was going on. And what I seen kind of changed my life.
And shows that he showed up all year long, but he went surfing. From there, he leads to going into the Air Force and becomes a pararescue, which pararescue is comparable to Navy SEAL. Then he goes into the CIA. Cannot tell you how long it is because I don't know how long it is, but it's several years. He goes into the CIA. And then afterwards, he decides to get out to go fight human trafficking. And all along, he gets a call from Amazon and Vice saying, we want to do a story that's similar to your background, because everybody tells us, well, we're about to write, you're the closest thing to this person. And that movie is Jack Ryan. With that being said, my guest today is Nick McKinley. Nick, how are you?
Hey, doing well, Patrick. Thank you for having me. Yeah,
it's good to have you, man. I mean, when I saw your story and I said, I can't find a lot of things on this guy. And then they said, well, that's the idea. You know, the idea isn't to have a lot of stuff on the life that he lived. You know, sometimes you can't find a lot of stuff on him. But going back to adults who didn't have the
So trafficking will always thrive where there's a lack of social safety nets and a lack of oversight. So when there's more surveillance, for example, there's been a ton of really great press around Super Bowls, and that's really because of like an increase in demand, right? Tons of
that.
yeah, exactly. When there's more surveillance, you tend to uncover more trafficking.
Right.
Surprise! So the
And a lot of trafficking happens at these types of games.
exactly because you're pulling in the demand, and I think
yeah.
that's really where the key is. It comes down to demand, and that's the truth for labor trafficking as well. If we stop demanding cheaply made goods and labor, and we ask about the supply chains, there'll be more of an incentive for companies to clean that up. So I think that's kind of an interesting corollary. But in the US, this happens.
Tale to tell. However, life has a way of shocking you, and I've been lugging this about for months. I need to let it out. Let me be clear, I've never been the sort to jump to conclusions or assume the worst. My wife, let's call her M, and I have been together for 6 years and married for 4. Things were solid, or so I thought. We experienced the typical ups and downs, but nothing that made me think, oh, there's a problem here. In reality, throughout the majority of our relationship, we were that couple, completely committed colleagues. We laughed at stupid inside jokes, argued for hours about which movie to watch, and had a cadence that just worked. She'd organize elaborate date nights, and I'd treat her to her favorite takeout after a long day. It felt effortless. As if we had figured out the whole love thing. That is why what occurred next struck me like a ton of bricks. The shift around 6 months ago, things began to alter. At first, it was minor details. Things you'd likely miss if you weren't paying attention. She began carrying her phone everywhere,